Altcoin Buzz. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about whether or not it's too late to get in on Bitcoin. So, in the Bitcoin community, if you've been investing in Bitcoin for several years now or even a couple months, it doesn't really matter. You've probably heard the terms FUD and FOMO. And this applies here because in this particular case, you'd be experiencing FOMO, which would be fear of missing out. So are you are you a part of the FOMO crew right now where you're like, okay, I've heard of this Bitcoin, I've heard of this phenomena. I don't really know too much about it, but I keep hearing about it. Some of my friends keep talking to me about it. If you're like that and you've seen everyone excited because Bitcoin's up almost 6,000, it's at 56.31 right now, which was coming off of yesterday's monumental surge. It hasn't pulled back yet. It could thrust even further forward. You're probably wondering, is it too late to invest in Bitcoin, right? Well, let's take a look at that from a chart, from a technical analysis position, and let's look at the chart. So, Bitcoin originally started by Satoshi Nakamoto. That's an alias for whoever really is behind Bitcoin. They or he wrote the white paper back in 2009 during the economic downturn. There's projections where many have said that they believe that Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, will make up 10% of global Forex in the next 5 years. With that being said, 10% of a global economic chart is a big time influencer, right? It's not there yet. The overall market cap of all cryptocurrencies is, let's take a look at that. You can go here to coin market cap, see all, and you can see all these different coins, market cap, okay, and you can go to coins, trade volume, monthly, currency, gainers and losers, tools. Anyways, so Bitcoin, as you can see, has the largest market cap of all of them by threefold, Ethereum being next. The reason why Ethereum is not the same price is because they have a higher circulating supply than the 21 million of Bitcoin, and that's why Ethereum trades at about 340 compared to 56.25. Now, Bitcoin currently has 17 million. There are over 17 million coins in circulating supply. If we just do a comparison here, I'm moving fast for you so you don't get bored. But basically, there's actually 16 million circulating supply. Ethereum has a circulating supply of 95 million. So there's about 10 times the amount and 1/3 the market cap. So that's why Ethereum is not on the same price. There is projections out there that say that the Ethereum market cap could soon pass the market cap of Bitcoin, which would be extremely impressive. As you can see, Ethereum is up, but this is about Bitcoin. So let's just look at the chart here. So the historical chart, you could have been the person who was in. There was a time in 2010 when you could have bought, for 10 cents a coin thereabouts. But those days are long gone, and it's traded about 100, and it was up to 1,000 back in 2013. It pulled back. Everyone thought Bitcoin was done. People pulled out, popped back up in 2014 January, and then Mt. Gox happened. Everyone panicked, thought Bitcoin was done, and it was down here at around 230 for 260 for a long time. This is when I first was looking at buying Bitcoin, was around this time frame right here, which I wish I had bought then. But I was doing research and everyone said, oh, Bitcoin's a fraud, it's a scam, And this, by the way, is 2015 when I'm reading all this. Then, at around January 2017, well, I was actually, for a while there, I was waiting for Bitcoin to pull back to this level, which is when I bought my first one at 450. I was waiting for it when it was at, let's see, about this price, over 1,000. I was waiting for it to come back down, but because it kept rising, I said, well, if it comes under 1,000, I'll buy. But I didn't. I should have. And I didn't see the value in buying a portion of a Bitcoin, meaning like zero point 0.1 Bitcoin or zero point 0.2 Bitcoins. I just was like, no, if I'm going to buy, I need a full Bitcoin, which it was ignorance on my behalf. But the point that I'm making here, even if we look at the year chart, okay, what Bitcoin does is it goes up, pulls back. Okay, goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back, down, goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back, goes up, going to pull back. So is it too late to buy Bitcoin? To answer your question directly, no, it's not. Because let's just say that you were one of those people, well, at least this is my opinion. I'm not giving financial advice. This is my opinion, okay? So yes, I am speaking with authority from my own experience, but if you take a look at the chart, you have at least some historical data to suggest that it's not too late to buy Bitcoin. Could it be said that you don't want to make a decision where you buy because of a fear of missing out on this Bitcoin gold rush that we're on right now? Sure. I mean, that could be said. 56.73, will it come back down off that? I believe so. The data suggests that it probably will also. But could it go to the moon and go to $7,000 by December or and just never come back down to these prices? Yes. So that's something to keep in mind when you're like, wow, should I buy at these prices? Keep in mind you have two ways it could go. You could take the historical reference point and say, well, I'll just wait for it to pull back. Or you could say, well, I better get in there at my price because no matter what, it's probably going to go up. Now, here's the thing. Here's the reason why you should do that. Okay, so there's people who are very adamant about this, who say that that Wall Street, for example, because they're not involved in this is an opportunity for the average person to actually have a leg up on Wall Street, because Wall Street has completely ignored this. As you know, if you just look at Jamie Dimon, I mean, he's been known to say quite a bit of things about Bitcoin, and I'm not going to discount his opinion because I believe he knows a lot. He's a fiat currency banker, and he says Bitcoin buyers will pay the price, whatever that means. I know what he means, but it's funny because Bitcoin buyers will pay the price. If it's 10,000, they'll jump in at 10,000. But what he means is they'll pay the price, meaning it's like they'll fall hard, right? So he previously called Bitcoin a fraud. And when this kind of news rolls out, it's called FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt is what FUD stands for. So when you're hearing news like this and the price, people hear that and the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt comes into some investors, they pull out and the price of Bitcoin drops. Many investors, they like that. They like when the price comes back down because then it comes into their buying range where they can actually pick some up at a reasonable price. Because you don't buy high and sell low. You buy low, sell high, right? That's the way you go about it. So people have suggested that it's funny that he makes these comments because they believe that the other Wall Street financial institutions are trying to buy in as fast as they can to accumulate, and they're actually a part of the investment. But why would they be telling the masses to stay away? Well, some have suggested that it's because this is the first time that the mega machine of Wall Street, Wall Street has the smartest people, the most capital, they have the best technology, and they throw it all at, currencies, Forex, as gold, silver, stocks, bonds, all that. They need cryptocurrency, especially if it's potentially going to make up 10% of it. Now, with that being said, you got JP Morgan CEO saying that you have Bitcoin's price bubble will burst under government pressure. So here's one that says that at some point in time, the decentralized, unregulated Bitcoin will fall under pressure. No one knows exactly when, but when that happens, people are saying it's going to happen, especially The Guardian, whether you want to believe them. From my experience, every bit of investment advice I've ever gotten from the mainstream media has never been correct. Whether it was watching CNBC or Fox Business trying to get stock advice, every time I followed their advice, I got burned. And I don't. it's not that I'm against listening to the mainstream media. I don't know if they do it on purpose or if they do it on accident, but for me, that's just been my experience. Every time I listen to the mainstream media, I get burned. It's kind of a sad story. You'd almost wonder if they're doing it on purpose, but um, you'd think that people would catch on. I mean, even if you look at their pundits that they bring on the TV, if you listen to them, it's like they make these projections and none of them are correct. It was like how many of them went on all the CNN and everything talking about how Hillary Clinton was going to win the election, and everyone was sold that Hillary was going to win the election. The next thing you know, Donald wins the election. So it's like, these polls and everything and all these calculations. It's just it's interesting to hear it, but usually if they say something, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's going to be the opposite. And look, I'm not against the mainstream media. I like the mainstream media's position in society. I just wish that they could be more accurate and influential for the betterment of mankind instead of stirring up hate and discourse. But anyway, so when I see this, might be FUD, might be true, I don't know. Here's one. Entrepreneur Trace Meyer predicts Bitcoin price will reach 27,000 in February 2018. So here's another side of the coin, right? Here's another side of the Bitcoin. $27,000. That would make Bitcoin a great buy at this price, right? 56.25. That would make it a heck of a great buy. Now, this is the thing. People are saying that Bitcoin under $10,000 is an excellent buy because at some point in time, as this coin goes up, now this is talking from a position of like being like aware of what's going on, saying that when Bitcoin rises over $10,000 a coin, there is going to be mainstream adoption, more mainstream adoption. Right now, I think less than 1% of the world's population knows about Bitcoin and is invested into actual Bitcoin. Okay, it's less than 1% of the world's population. When it goes over 10,000, there is going to be anywhere between 5 to 10% of the world or the American population at least, or the democratized populations of the world, jumping into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and it's going to drive up the market cap even higher, and that's where something like $27,000 per Bitcoin comes in, and people are even projecting as high as, you've heard it, $500,000 to $1 million per Bitcoin. Now keep in mind, these hard forks, Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash and any other potential hard fork, these are happening because some people predict or have assumed that Bitcoin is going to be too big for its own good, meaning that it will have to split, it will have to fork to keep up, because this blockchain that it's built on it's a store of value is basically what it is. You know how gold is a store of value? Like, you buy gold because it keeps its value. You buy Bitcoin because it stores its value. It's not necessarily for buying everyday goods and services like microtransactions. Like, there probably will come a time where you will not be at the convenience store paying with Bitcoin. You might be paying with a 10x coin or a Ripple coin or a Stellar Lumens or one of these micro payment processing coins, tokens, not a Bitcoin, maybe not even a Litecoin. So you have like three phases. You have Ripple as a microtransaction solution. Then you have Litecoin, which is a faster solution to Bitcoin. And then you have Bitcoin, a store of value. That's why they say Bitcoin's like gold, Litecoin's like silver, and then you have Ripple. Now, where does that put Ethereum? Well, in my opinion, and it's even more than just my opinion, Ethereum is in a class of its own. It is like an iOS. It's like an internet. It's like a mix between an iOS and an internet. And what I mean by that is, like, iOS is a software, right? And you can build applications on iOS, on Android, okay? So you can build applications on Ethereum, and that's what most of these ICOs are. These initial coin offerings, they are applications built on the Ethereum blockchain. So when you're hearing ICOs, these are all built on Ethereum. And Ethereum is only going to continue to get stronger. And I'll make another video about Ethereum. But as far as just Bitcoin as a currency, which is different than Ethereum, similar to Litecoin and similar to Ripple, this one here, I do not think that it is too late to get in. As a matter of fact, I'd say anything below 10,000, you should invest in Bitcoin, because when the day comes, when it starts to pick up and mainstream adoption happens, meaning like now all these people that you've talked to that don't know anything about Bitcoin, when they start to pour into Bitcoin and they start to say, okay, you've been talking about Bitcoin for a long time, how do I get in? Okay, that is when Bitcoin's price is going to rise. And if you're an early adopter, someone who gets in at these prices, under 10,000, even under 20,000, I mean, let's be real, if we're talking like this, and it does end up going up to 100 to more, 100K, I mean, this is what we're looking at here. And that's why they say, if you do anything, just buy one Bitcoin, just one. Try to get your hands on just one full Bitcoin. If you can't buy one full Bitcoin, buy 0.1 Bitcoin, buy 0.2 Bitcoins, whatever you can get your hand on some Bitcoin at these prices, because it's going to go up. Now, obviously, the days of getting a Bitcoin at $204, don't you wish you could have bought 5 of them at $204? Well, you're in the same kind of opportunity here, potentially, but it's $56.73. Now, by the way, this is not financial advice. If you go out and you buy one Bitcoin, do not blame me if it goes down. And do not credit me if it goes up. I am just one guy giving my insight and sharing it with you. So you don't owe me anything if it goes up. You don't owe me anything if it goes down. But what I'm saying is, just look at this chart. The historical data has said and suggests that it goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, okay? And so when you buy at this price, if it pulls back and it goes down to, I don't know, 3,000, you might buy more. You might. Some people say, "Oh my gosh, I gotta sell. I gotta." They FUD and they sell, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to lose everything." I mean, I've even had that happen as a Bitcoin investor. There was a point, even in September, when the Chinese regulated the exchanges, and Jamie Dimon said what he said. Bitcoin was down. I remember the night. This was just recently. It was down to like 34. I want to say 3,400, and it was off its almost $5,000 record low, and about 7 days it went that low, and I looked at the charts and all I saw was red. Everything was in red. Everything was crashing. I was like, I went to bed and I was like, well, I'd buy more, but it looks like we're in a downward spiral. And I woke up that morning and everything was back in the green, and I was like, what a weird, volatile market we have here. So I've been in that situation where I've watched it just tank, and when it came back up and it rose back up to where we are now, if I would have known then what I know now, which is I should have bought when it went low. I'm just sharing this with you guys because, people have shared with me these opportunities, and I like to share these kind of opportunities with other people because I'm excited about this. And I think, even though I don't know you, whoever's watching this, the point is that I think we're in an opportunity that only comes maybe once in a lifetime. And I'd like to see everyone who can, whoever's brazen enough and bold enough to take the opportunity to get involved in this and realize, don't invest anything, like don't be like that guy who took out a loan against his house to buy Bitcoin, and then, well, I guess I shouldn't say don't be like him, because I think Bitcoin was at like $500 a coin, and he took out a loan against his house. But I'm saying that's kind of a little bit too much of a risk for me, because even though his investment paid off, that's a little bit too much risk. Especially if you, be whoever you want to be, right? That's, I guess, what I should say. But no, I don't think it's too late to get involved in Bitcoin, especially under 10,000. Even if you buy now under a fear of missing out option here, or you could just wait till it comes back to another, maybe back into 4,000 something, maybe 4,800. Recently, I'll tell you, I was acquiring Bitcoin around 4,000, 4,100, 4,200 recently, just because of the chart. I did not buy Bitcoin when it was down at 3,600, 3,700. If we just go to the 3-month chart, We'll see how low it really was at that point. 3,046. That was that day I was telling you about. So it went down as low as 3,046. I did not buy at that price. I did not, even though I wish I did. And if I did, I'd be very happy right now, especially if I bought more volume. So when it pulls back, guys, don't get panicked and start selling off everything, because we've seen this before with Bitcoin. That's why people who've been trading Bitcoin for so long, they don't panic. They're very resilient. They get excited. They're like, well, I'm not in this for the day trading. I'm in this for the 5-year plan. So give me more Bitcoin. You know, that's how they look at it. But these new people, they get involved. They start seeing something like this, including myself. I see this and I'm like, okay, well, looks like it's the end of Bitcoin. No, and I should have known better, because I've been doing this for a while now. And some people, they just buy it and they sit on it and they don't even look at it. They check it every 6 months and they see it's always up. So they don't even have to stress themselves out with these little things right here, where it goes down a little bit and then pops back up again. So that's my take on Bitcoin. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Subscribe to this channel. My name is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. I look forward to talking to you guys again. Please subscribe if you like.